the problem.
Because we know what that all that's going to mean. You would need somebody else to rubber stamp and stuff. We don't need this kind of, we ain't down here talking about no high positions and stuff like that. The people going to get justice, and it's going to be in the street.
All right.
Cops go free. That's what the rich call democracy. Eula Love dead. Cops go free. That's what the rich call democracy. Eula Love.
The police cannot police themselves, nor can the district attorney's office, who works daily hand in hand with the Los Angeles Police Department, prosecuting citizens for alleged misconduct, then changes hats and becomes the investigator and prosecutor of the police accused of misconduct, sometimes by the same citizens themselves. Thirdly, this police commission, this Citizens Police Commission, I don't believe it can do the job either.
There is a widespread feeling, which I share, that the shooting might have been avoided. I am therefore requesting that you initiate an immediate review of this case, including meetings with the citizens in various parts of the city, with the objective of making changes in the policies, procedures, and tactics utilized by LAPD in the training, performance, and supervision of its officers. Was a terrible tragedy for this city. It compels us to renew our commitment to alleviate those social forces that sometimes divide the people from their government. What continues to confront us after the tragedy of January 3rd of this year is a question for which all city administrators must find an answer. How can an event such as this one be avoided in the future? If we as civic leaders do not learn from this tragedy, there looms before us the terrible prospect of further loss of life and other psychological and emotional scars. Although the district attorney and the police department reports have determined that the shooting of Mrs. Love does not warrant the filing of any criminal charges, as well as your recommendations, it is our responsibility to assure the public that we're taking every step necessary to prevent the recurrence of this unfortunate incident. Mr. President, I should like to present this letter to the Commission through your Secretary.
Thank you very much, Mayor Brad.
Thank you. Thank you, members of the Commission.
You know, the capitalists and their courts and their pigs and everything else, the kind of justice people deserve, you guys deserve to get. And we're saying, hey, Eula Love's death is at the hands of the blood at the hands of you capitalist pigs who have nothing else but whitewash. You're coming down in a black community right now. This weekend, there was a reign of terror that took place where, cop cars, shotguns at people's head. At the other hand, you're talking out of the other side of your mouth, saying,
relations in an effort to avoid the occurrence of similar incidents in the future. On the day the district attorney announced that he had completed his investigation and that no criminal charges would be filed against the officers, the Commission stated that it would conduct the type of hearings that it is starting to do today. The reason the Commission did that was because, pardon me? The reason the commission did that was because we felt it would be unfair and a violation of due process to conduct public meetings while a criminal investigation was pending. Now that the criminal investigation is over, it is the role and the function of the police commission of this city to attempt to answer the questions that have been asked as to why this incident occurred, as to whether we in the police department have fulfilled our responsibilities, whether we conducted ourselves properly in this case, why what happened happened, and what we can do to avoid confrontations and killings whenever it is possible to do so, and to perform our job of law enforcement properly. Certainly, we believe that we, as a commission, have a responsibility to answer the questions which the public has been asking and which the public has a right to know about. So it is our intention to examine that incident, to review the reports thoroughly, to hear from members of the community, and to hold a series of meetings concerning the specific subjects, some of which the mayor has already mentioned, some of which I mentioned, the subjects of training, public accountability, tactics and procedures, whether our policies now are sufficient or whether they should be improved, question of high crime areas, community relations in those areas, deployment of personnel in those areas, training relating to performance of duties in those areas, to attempt to see that the best policies, the best procedures for the benefit of our citizens, the job which is deliberate law enforcement action, it means that our system of justice has not functioned properly. These handling of these operate to some extent due to legal limitations as to the Commission's authority, to some extent due to considerations of our understanding.
I am of the opinion that the factual investigations conducted by the department and the district attorney's office are thorough and complete.
First, states that there's been no prosecution of any Los Angeles Police Department officer since approximately 1952. If this is true, two possible conclusions can be reached. First, the police have been acting perfectly in their contacts with citizens over the last 26 years. Every time there's a shooting involved, anytime that there's the use of a club, the use of fists, the use of handcuffs, the police have acted properly within police department policy. The second possible alternative is that maybe there's a policy to protect the police. Maybe there's a policy by the district attorney, by this police commission, and by the police itself not to prosecute, but rather to protect and serve the police who are accused of misconduct. In 1964, there was a call for a citizens review board. That is, an independent citizens review board. In 1964, the ACLU National Board of Directors meeting strongly urged the adoption of a Citizens Review Board by municipal governments for two basic reasons, both of which have been addressed by members of the Commission today. One is to preserve the public's confidence in the police. Secondly is to ensure that improper sanctions are not levied against police because of unfounded charges, and to recommend appropriate sanctions where the charges are founded. Today, the ACLU urges this body and the city to adopt an independent citizen review board having these following functions. First, to hear and receive complaints from citizens, to conduct independent investigations into the complaints, and to make findings of facts and recommendations concerning alleged misconduct. The ACLU feels that the operation of the elected police review board, and I stress elected police review board, will not destroy discipline or morale amongst most officers, in that the vast majority of these officers are conscientious of citizens' rights and of the rights of the citizens under the Constitution and under the laws of the state. It is only the undisciplined officer, the reckless, unthinking, insensitive officer that has anything to worry about his morale or whether or not he's going to continue to have a job with the LAPD. We believe that the channels that exist now, the grand jury, the civil suit, and the district attorney's criminal prosecutions have been proven totally inadequate to protect citizens and to stress the rights of citizens aggrieved by police misconduct.